Well, the pandemic has changed the way our students' classrooms may look, the way the lunchrooms looked. There are things that have not changed. Bullying is one of them. We want to remind you about the resources available to your students now that kids are back in school. Heather Watson is with Duval County Public Schools Office of Student Discipline and Support Services. Heather's joining us via Zoom this morning. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So the pandemic does not make all the other problems, unfortunately, go away. In fact, last week, I was sitting in the newsroom at my desk and we were watching this video that was sent to us by a viewer, and it just made my stomach roll. It was basically a teenage girl who was attacking another girl in a park, slapping this girl in the face while she was on the ground. I think that this illustrates the fact that while we recognize there's a pandemic, kids will be kids. And I think it's important to point out to them that the resources that are available to students and parents. Would you explain what those are for Duval County students?
Absolutely. So Duval County has what is called a bully hotline, and there are multiple ways that you can report. People are welcome to call the hotline. The number is 390-2255, and we take reports on the hotline, and then we give the information to the schools so that they can complete an investigation. In addition to calling the hotline, individuals are also free to report via text and via email. So they can text or email 390-CALL@duvalschools.org and make a report in that manner as well.
Do you think that students understand what bullying is, since it's pretty defined, and what their options are to reporting it?
I think that oftentimes students may engage in situations that are worthy of discipline, but they may not have a true understanding of what bullying is.
So bullying does have certain criteria, as we spoke about before. It must be repeated. It's something that is intentionally done to harm another person. And there's also what's called an imbalance of power, which means that the person who is being victimized feels powerless to stand up to the bully and to do anything about it.
And where, I have to tell you, because I've fielded these calls into the newsroom where, ultimately we'll have a parent who reaches out and says, that their child is just constantly being bullied at school. They feel like maybe the school administration isn't doing anything. Can you explain, though, kind of what the chain of command is and what a parent can do should they feel that frustration as the school year progresses? Absolutely.
So within the secondary setting, we first like to start with the Dean of Discipline as the point of contact who would have the majority of the interaction with students in regards to discipline. And if you feel like you have not gotten a satisfactory resolution, then always reach out to your principal. Really, the administrators in the buildings are who we look to for guidance and for support and to kind of enact the code of conduct. But if you feel like you have not had satisfaction in those arenas, you are more than welcome to call our hotline. In our office at the district office, we'll work with the schools to try to get a satisfactory resolution.
And
there's always a chain of command.
Yeah, and that's a very good point to point out. So it's interesting because now that we're seeing there are more students, obviously, who are participating in school-based distance learning or virtually. The district, I know that you want to let them know that their chats through school accounts, they are going to be monitored, correct? Would you explain that, please?
Absolutely. So we have always monitored the schools, the students' email accounts through what we call a gaggle system, where there are individuals who are alerted, the school principal, the school police, as well as individuals at the district office are alerted where any kind of alarming behavior or keywords are flagged. And that is now extended to the chats that are when children are in the virtual learning environment. So those chats are monitored. So we then respond by contacting parents, reaching out to students, making sure that everyone is safe in those environments and that no inappropriate behavior is going on.
It's just always good to remind students that they're being monitored in those kinds of situations, I think, to make sure that everybody is focusing on school and not perhaps picking on someone else. So, Heather, thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. And we do want to remind also our viewers of that hotline number for public schools. It is 390-2255. And you can also email or text at 390-CALL@duvalschools.org.